So a new season is underway with AB and the Faroe Islands, and it's a season to remember, so make sure you do stay tuned and hopefully you do enjoy this video. Now, before we go anywhere further, thank you for the continued support on this Build a Nation series. And if you are new and you've come across me on this video, if you want, go back and check out the previous seasons. If not, that's fine. You can come in at this point and you can easily follow along. Now, please go and check out my other stuff I've also got going. I've got guides, hints and tips, as well as experiments. I also currently have a mini-series going where I've took over Brighton, who are bottom of the Premier League with only 7 points going into January. But going on to this series then, I'm absolutely loving this. This is my go-to relax away from the world save. And hopefully it continues throughout the whole of Football Manager 2023. So our final season 2029 in our current 880 capacity stadium, because at the end of this season our new 6,800 capacity stadium is going to be constructed. Unfortunately not named after me, but we can forgive. Due to moving on the 31st of the 12th 2029. Happy days. We currently have good training and good youth facilities. If I go on to the board side of things, we are in progress of upgrading our training facilities again, due to be done in 4 months. Started only at the end of December, so really pleased with that. Costing us a bit of money each time, but it's worth it, isn't it? Keeping upgrading. So we will go from good to, I think it'll go up to great next, and then is it excellent after that? Either way, absolutely superb. Delighted to keep upgrading. In terms of competitions, etc., so the season is about to start. We are obviously in the Europa Conference League, where we were. At the end of the last episode, obviously, when our season ended, you saw we did qualify. So in the first, the knockout playoff round, we played Levski Sofia. We beat them 2-1 at home with Fredriksson and an own goal. And then we got a 1-0 victory away from home. Now, after a 2-1 win at home, I did worry away from home we'd get battered. But no. A 1-0 victory. Fredriksson again on the score sheet saw us through to the last 16 of the Europa Conference League. A 2-1 home defeat to Lille. I'm not going to lie, I was fairly pleased with that. But then we went to the next level and got a 1-1 away from home in France to Lille. You've got to be pleased with them kind of results, haven't you? In terms of coefficient side of things then, if it lets me click on it. Why is it not letting me click on that? Hello, nation coefficient. Okay, here we go. Don't know why it wouldn't let me click on it. So we're currently 34th. If you work our way along here to the 28-29 season, we've got 4.375 points. So going into the season after that, we're going to have 16.5 points at the minute. So we're currently pulling ahead of everybody below. So we're not going to drop any further down, which is fantastic. And we are closing the gap to nations above us. And that was the issue. There was quite a big gap to the nations. So if we can close the gap on all of these teams here, then the next step is to start closing the gap on the likes of Romania, Israel, Republic of Ireland. The likes of Scotland, etc. are quite far ahead of us, and I do think that is because of them having multiple clubs maybe doing at least a couple of rounds in Europe, where at the minute it seems to be just us. So in terms of the transfer side of things, we picked up 2 signings after the season ended. Hallo Hansen, very experienced, 36 years old, a regular in the national team, 116 caps, is going to join us for this season. He's going to come in as a fringe player. It's more than nostalgia, and the mentoring side of things is why I brought him in. He's going to be great for the younger players. And the other one we're going to look at is Anders Eriksson. Comes in as our goalkeeper for next season. Only 17 years old at the minute. Really talented looking keeper. Definitely one for the future. We might have to put him in straight away. And the reason we might have to put him in straight away is we did end up losing our first choice keeper, Christian Feddersen. So he was only with us for 1 year, which was upsetting because my hope was get him for a couple of years, nationalise him as a Faroe Islands player, and then he would be our goalkeeper for the national team. But unfortunately, he left us. Brumman left us as well, who we did look at last season and said that he wanted to leave. So we got 180k for him. Obishe as well has actually gone, which was upsetting because he was one of my good defenders, but again, wasn't guaranteed starting 11 football. Ended up kicking a fuss. He's gone for 64k. And Fielska, our right back, again complained about it on a first team football, has ended up going to Fram. So he's left us as well for 20k. Coming in then, we've signed obviously the defender we looked at last time. Pre-arranged transfer, very, very solid experience at 26 for our squad. Really, really pleased to bring him in. Allaire joins us again now. If you remember, we actually had him a few seasons ago. We signed for 5k, ended up selling for 8k plus 50% the next sale. Got him back on loan, never really impressed, but he's ended up going back to Malmo, spent a couple of years there. He has now joined us as a fringe player, so not guaranteed football, but he has joined us. I'm excited about this guy, Gustav Kilberg, Swedish, 18 years old, mentally fantastic, technically decent, physically decent as well. Long term could be a very, very good player. So the next player we're going to look at is Kasper Nielsen joins us on loan. After us losing one of our right backs, I end up picking up another, for me, experienced player, 25 years old. I think he's a very solid right back, so really, really pleased to bring him in. He might actually end up being our first choice right back this season. I think he is a step above. And join us for 25k on a 6-month loan deal. His contract is actually running out at Bromby. So I've brought him in on loan with the thought that if he performs well, we can sign him. But if he doesn't, okay, we didn't waste the money or take a punt. We've brought him in on loan, tested him first, then we've ended up just saying no to the deal. So going in this season, and our squad is at the minute, I'm going with Barra, our national team goalkeeper, as my first choice keeper. Maybe the youngster will come in. Nielsen, Harleton, Klassen and Johansson. Engegaard drop back to this defensive role at the minute. I'm just testing the tactic at the start of this season. Kamara, Bredal, Kilberg is going in as our first choice. It's going to be Samuelson, but St. Joppe is in for this game. Fredrickson there. Kamara obviously signed at the end of last season. You won't have seen much of him yet, but I think he could slot in and be a very, very solid central midfielder for us, at least for a couple of seasons. I'm not sure. I don't know. Our club's going to come in for him. Is he going to just drop off performance-wise? I don't know what to expect from Kamara. So we've won the Super Cup again. Successive Super Cup wins now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's our 6th Super Cup win in a row. The negative is, just as this is happening, a transfer is in the middle of happening as well. Unfortunately, Klassen is wanted by Gothenburg, and unfortunately, the lure of that club was just that little bit too much for him. So unfortunately, he is going to be leaving us. He's going to be going for 250k plus 50% of next sale, which I think could be a great deal. The positive is they have said we can loan him back for the season. I have agreed a couple of the deals as well. We need a bit more depth at left back. At the minute, we only have Jurgensen at left back. So another Faroe Islands national team player, Madsen, is joining us from KI. I have paid over the odds. I've paid 80k for him. They actually negotiated me and said that they wanted 50. But I ended up offering them 80 because I want to pump more money back into clubs within the division. Thomas Haag is going to join us in the summer. I think it's a great bit of business. Comes in on a free. 18 years old. Really pleased with him. And also joining us on a free is Kari Askerson from Iceland. 17 years old. And again, a very solid player. And again, I'm trying to add a lot of depth, but young players to this squad. And talking about depth and young players, Izake has joined us. 19-year-old Brazilian. Another Brazilian superstar joining us. He's going to slot into our B team for this season to see how he performs, I think. He's got 5 goals in his first 2 games for the B team. I think I'm going to play him in the B team this season, just see how he does. Maybe he gets some first team football. Maybe he could be a free transfer, which means we don't have to sign Thorlo, who wanted a very high wage, and Ezeke comes in on £400 a week. So maybe we've managed to pick up a gem and save us some money. We'll see how it goes. So we're 15 games into the season, and it's been fairly solid. Played 15, won 15, and you will see Ezeke has 15 goals. So if we go on to him, he went from coming in as a second team player this season and maybe pushing on to being a first choice regular. 11 games, 15 goals. He's been insane. And if we can hold on to him, happy days. A brief bit of information, we did update our junior coaching from adequate to good, so that's been upgraded as well. So the rankings are in, we remain in 34th place. We do need to take into account that next season we're going to lose a 1.6 and the season after that we're going to lose a 0.87. So the positive is, I think in a couple of years we're going to get a bit of a boost. But at the minute we're on 14.875, so we actually will overtake Bosnia going in next season if we stayed like this. And we actually will also overtake Kazakhstan. So we're at a point now where we are catching the teams above if we can have a good season this season coming up. We also moved up the rankings. We're up to 88th place in the European club rankings. Now I do want to point out that if you bear in mind that if we go down to where we are, bear in mind that the likes of Wolves, they're maybe not playing in Europe, Birmingham, Bournemouth, Burnley, Everton, Fulham, Hull, Leeds, they're probably not playing in Europe, and that's why we are battering above them, because you can see 1, 2.5, 2.5, 9.5 and 10.5. So if we keep getting these kind of points, we are going to be ranked fairly high. And is it a false place? I think so. Are we better than West Ham? No chance, but that's where we are. And that's because it's ranked on European competition. I'm back. My son's phone started ringing weirdly. Thought it was mine, but no, it was my son's. There's me thinking I had a friend. And European club competition, we've moved up to our domestic league has moved up to 9th. So we're now, up 9 play. I wish we were 9th. To 7th. Bloody hell, Paul, come on. To 72nd. So if we scroll ourselves down, 72nd from 81st. We're just behind the first division in Poland, which is the second tier, I think. Proximus League in Belgium. So we're getting better. We are getting better. But close to League 2. We're close to League 2 in terms of quality. Dear me. So our European run has been a success again, getting to the group stages of the Conference League again. If I just extend that so you can see exactly what competition we're in and stuff. So Champions League first qualifying path, we played RFS from Latvia, I think they're from. A 5-2 victory at home. Ezeke with 4 goals, by the way. I mean, that guy is just, I'm considering proposing. Before 4-2 victory away from home, saw us dominate them, winning 9-4 on aggregate. We then lost, unfortunately, on neutral ground to Bate Borisov 2-0. It was a really disappointing game. We didn't deserve to lose 2-0, to be honest with you. Before getting a 1-0 victory at home, it just wasn't enough. And we ended up dropping in the Europa League. We lost the first leg 4-1 to Apel Limassol. And you don't know what to say at that point. A 32nd minute red card. We were just shocking. But we went back to our ground and beat them 7-2. 7-2. I mean, I don't even know what to say. And as I'm talking, I realise we didn't qualify for the Europa Conference League group stage. Oh, no. I'm mistaken. Because we played Young Boys of Bern and drew 1-1 at home before going to their ground, and beating them 2-1 to qualify for the Europa League group phase. That's right. I was mistaken. I said wrong. We qualified for the Europa League group phase, where we will face actually 8 teams. So if I go on to this, we have it here. We play Hammarby, Bate Borisov again, Slovan Bratislava, Lyon, Dynamo Zagreb, Valerenga, before after the winter break we will come back to face Sporting and Athletic Club in our pre-season friendlies, which I class them as. 2.93 million for that. We now have 7 million in the bank. I think our facilities have been upgraded now. They are great, and great, because that was good, wasn't it? So our training facility is now great. And we now have money in the bank to maybe extend them even more. In terms of points we got for getting to the group phase, we now have 2.625 points for getting through to the group phase of the Europa League. So that puts us on 17.5 points next season, which is exactly the same as Azerbaijan and Bosnia. So they have picked up some points as well. Bosnia picked up a few more than us, actually. But we would overtake Kazakhstan. And we are closing in step by step, like I say, on the teams above us, the likes of the Polish League, etc., which is just insane. To say the Faroe Islands League will be qualifying roughly around the same point as them. And the reason I keep going on about this, as I've said, is the likes of, look, we are just outside getting a spot in the Europa League guaranteed in qualifying. We're just outside it. So we just need to go them 1 or 2 places more. And we go from 3 Conference League places to 1 spot in that Europa League qualifying, which is huge. Huge for the club. For the country. And yeah, it's exciting to be at this point. So we jump forward just a short time where I've actually requested to upgrade the facilities again, and again they have agreed to do it. So we are spending 3.7 million upgrading our training facilities, and again, I know some people will say just pump the money into the players. You can grow really quickly. Yeah, I could spend 2 million on some fantastic players, but we are building this whole club, and the training facilities are going to be upgraded again, which is just insane. So delighted to be doing that. We're currently on great, so they're going to go up even more. What's above great? Exceptional? Is it exceptional instead of the art? Guess we'll find out. So in terms of transfers, it's pretty much what we spoke about. Mads Madsen's came in, Kari Asgerson, Thomas Hager. 2 signings which weren't mentioned then is Matteo Michelin has joined us. He's in on our B team at the minute. This confirmed we didn't sign the guy from Bromby, who we looked at the start of the season. He's coming as our 3rd choice striker. This season he will be in our B team, but next season he's going to come into the first team. And also Rune Olsen, I've signed another defender, 18 years old from Norway. Again, somebody who I just feel, if he doesn't develop well enough, we can move him on. Realist personality, he's very decent. 6'2", 33k we've spent on him. So we are spending a bit of money now. 33k, I honestly believe we can move him on if we need to. In terms of sales, quite a few players have gone out on loan, but no sales have happened. Rune Olsen went back to Ranheim on loan, and we also loaned out Ronnie Eberson. Apart from that, it's just backup B-team players who have been loaning out, trying to help clubs within our league structure. A league update, by the way. It's almost like a secondary thing now to our European runs, but a league update is we've played 22, we've won 22. Later today, as this video goes live, there's going to be a tactical video coming out, because I feel like I've actually perfected this tactic for this club, and hopefully you can use it, alter it a little bit to the players you have, and perfect it for you. So the season is over, and drastically, we didn't win every game. We drew 1 game, and it was a very frustrating game because half of our squad was on international duty. So we've ended up drawing 1 game. The second place, Vikingur Goethe, actually have snuck ahead of KI. And now my hope is that they will turn professional now. That's the hope, is that Vikingur Goethe will turn professional. Because he's still currently semi-professional. If they will turn professional, that's 3 professional clubs in the league. And it's just a big, big boost. In terms of the B team, they also won the league. They did lose a game, though. They lost to NSI, who came 3rd. But another dominating performance. Another title for them. You can see now we've won the league for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in a row now. Our B team has won the league, and we are only getting stronger. So really, really pleased with that. Other clubs within our league in the 2nd tier are actually starting to sniff around our players more and more as well. So in terms of build a nation, it's a really big struggle at the minute to be able to build the nation. And transfer wise, I have signed a goalkeeper from Vikingur Goethe. Now, he was valued at £1,000. I paid 20. We don't really need him, but he will develop more at my club. They were not going to be using him as a first choice keeper. So I paid well over the odds with the hope that he will develop for a few seasons and we can sell him back to somebody within our division. That's the level of desperation I've got to. And we also have confirmed the sign of Kasper Nielsen, who was on loan this season, if you remember. he performed really well. Now, a negative is his contract expired, and we signed it the exact same day, but he's now not registered to play the final 2 games in the Europa League group, even though he was already registered in our squad. That, I think, is something that should be fixed. 2 more loans went out though again to clubs within our nation. Thomas Anderson and Wilhelmsen's gone out to TB. He was actually out on loan at TB before that as well. So they've decided they want to keep him for this next season coming up. Happy days. If you want him, you can have him. Now, one bit of news to point out is our stadium move has been put back to the 2nd of April. Don't quite know why. Didn't get any news information about this. It's just randomly changed date. So I'm hoping that doesn't keep going back, because I was looking forward to playing against Sporting in that ground, and now we're not doing it. So it's a bit frustrating, because we probably could have sold out there. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks. Good job informing us of that. In other news, after losing the domestic cup last season, we won it this year, beating KI in the final, and we actually put out a fairly heavily rotated side due to the fact of European games. So really pleased to see that we managed to win the cup even with a pretty much B team out. So in terms of the Europa League, then the group phase has gone fairly well, and we have 2 games left. Probably the 2 hardest teams, so I don't know if we're going to pick up any points, but we drew with Hammarby 2-2, Kilberg with both goals. We then drew with Beit Borisov 1-1, Kilberg on the score sheet again, before 3-3 away from home to Slaven Bratislava. Isakwe, I don't know how to say his name, with 2, and Kilberg again on the score sheet. We lost to Lyon 2-0 at home, but we're not at that level yet. Before a 1-0 victory away from home Dynamo Zagreb, and that was a close the doors, lock the doors, park a bus, don't let anyone past, and we did it. 1-0 victory. Before going to Norway and losing to Valerenga, which was a bit upsetting. I mean, we can't expect everything, can we? But that sees us in 27th place. You can't actually... Let me drag myself out the way. 27th place. Won 1, drew 3, lost 2. We've got 6 points. Now, we've got Sporting at home next. Top 24 go through. I think if we can somehow beat Sporting, who are below us at the minute, if we can somehow, at home in the Faroe Islands, beat Sporting Lisbon or Sporting Club de Portugal, we could potentially get to the playoff round of the Europa League, which would be insane. Let me put myself back. Is that where I was? That's where I was. So, we not doing too bad. I've got to say I am fairly pleased. Financially, we got a bit of help from this money coming in. So 3.9 million in the bank as a cat walks past. 3.9 million in the bank. Considering we just spent 3.7 million upgrading our training facilities, I'm happy that we've still got 4 million in the bank. Really pleased with that. Financially, we're just in a solid place. The money for winning in the league and stuff has gone up massively. I'm not sure if I go into the league, can you see what it is now? If I go to rules, does it say? Yeah, so there. I mean, that's gone up even more. So it's just under 700k for winning the league now, 450k for second. Where if you think when we started it was like 150. So that's massively going up as the reputation goes up. In terms of the cup, that's gone up as well. If you win it, does it say? Yeah, prize fund for winning is 250k, which again was a lot less before. And winning the Super Cup as well, I think that's gone up as well quite a lot. 200k for winning. So 60k if you lose. So we're looking very solid. Anders Eriksson has cemented his spot as our first choice keeper, but he's just not quite there yet. He's still only 18. He's really struggling position, anticipation, etc. So I have negotiated to bring in William Like, who I actually have wanted to sign for a few seasons. Before he went to Fredrika, I was trying to sign him. So we have agreed to bring him in. He's a much better keeper. There's no question about it. He's 25. So he's going to come in. Hopefully, we'll stay a couple of years and we can secure him as our national team keeper because he's insane and he's got 10 years left in him. And Anders Eriksson can just develop. I'm going to play him in cups. I'm going to play him as much as I can because long term, he will be a great keeper. But he's not first team ready for European football yet. And I think that's what I was thinking. He's not good enough to be our European keeper yet, but long term he will be. So I'm pleased with what we're doing. I'm pleased with how the team is building. Top goal scorer this season, Ezeke ended up with 37 goals in 26 starts. Unfortunately, that does mean pretty much every man and his dog wants to sign him now. Fredrickson managed to get 23 goals in 17 starts. He has agreed a new contract, couple of years as a squad team player. He's just a goal scorer, even at 33. Bredal from the wing got 18 goals. And, one of the shocks of the season, Kilberg, 18 years old still, doesn't turn 19 until before the start of next season. He signed a new deal as a regular starter. I had to secure him. We had to secure him. He's just quality, and he's just getting better. I mean, ignore the fact that currently he's not, but he is just a quality player. Well, he managed to get himself 15 goals this season. In terms of assists as well, he got hit over 20 assists. We had two players with over 20 assists. 21 assists for Kilberg and 21 for Bredal. Samuelson managed to get 23 starts, but he's just been so injury prone this season. It's honestly been upsetting. I think that is why this season I feel like we've really struggled on the wings to have us good wingers. And I think it's because Samuelson's just been out for so long of it, where in previous seasons the right wing has not been an issue because I know Samuelson has been my right winger. So I don't even think about that. I've just been trying to build the left wing. I actually think at this point we need to look at another option on the right wing. Allaire, who came in, has not done it enough. 32 starts. I mean, that shows you. He didn't come in as first choice, but he's had 32 starts in all competitions. That's including B team. 10 goals, but 7 of them were in the second tier for my B team. 11 assists. 4 of them were for the B team. So as a first team player, he only got 7 assists and 5 goals? No, 4 goals. So I think a winger is needed. We need to hold on to Ezeke. 100% we need to hold on to him. But I'm happy with the direction the club's going in. I'm happy with how we're looking. So let's head over to the national team and see exactly how that has been going. So the national team schedule for this year. So we start with a friendly to Estonia where we got absolutely battered. We then came up against Denmark in the World Cup qualifying and lost the game 2-0. Denmark's a good side. We look good here. We got a 1-0 victory against Luxembourg away with Hugnesson getting the goal before a 1-0 victory at home with our player Jacob Anderson on the score sheet. We lost 7-0 to England, almost expected. Lost 1-0 at home to Hungary. Wait, 84th minute goal. I honestly thought we were looking solid. This was upsetting. A 1-0 friendly defeat to Andorra. 7-0 away to Denmark. 5-1 at home to England. 1-0 away to Hungary. We did finish... That's not what we were in. We did finish second bottom with 6 points. I think that's pretty much what was expected. We could have maybe snuck a draw at home to Hungary. But apart from that, we've done pretty much what was expected. 6 points. Beat Luxembourg home and away. We don't look too bad now. The last couple of games I've been actually playing Mortensen in goal because he's starting to actually develop into a better keeper than the other guy who I still can't pronounce his name. Right back has been a bit of an issue because that young Bromby right back has been injured for so many games. So Vegi's been coming in, doing a decent job. One of the centre-backs for KI, John Mayer, has qualified for national citizenship, so he's been capped 6 times now. He was Danish. So really, really solid defender. 25 years old as well. And also this guy as well, he has come up from B36. We've ended up giving him a cap because, again, he's been doing fairly decent for the club team. And we had some injuries as well, to say the least. Anderson has actually ended up moving into central midfield, the young guy from Rangers. But it sounds silly, but it's probably not the best time to be looking at our squad because we had so many injuries. So if we go back to the schedule, and go like this game here, for example. Gester Jensen is our first choice right back. He's been out injured a minute. He's actually gone from Bromby to Ajax. Really, really solid right back, only 18. In central defence, I didn't play the best central defence in this game. You have John Mayer, and then I think it's probably going to be, we have a young kid from Liverpool. This guy here, Henry Nielsen Lustein. He was Faroe Islands plus another nationality. So we have capped him, 3 caps now. Solid player. If he keeps developing at Liverpool, he will improve dramatically just because of them. But the problem is, fitness of 3. He's picked up a lot of injuries. But again, the national team is getting ignored in these videos a lot. But to be honest with you, we're rotating the squad so much, it is really hard to show you people to brag about. Philippe Hugnesson is one to look at, who we obviously had at AB. He's gone back to EB. He just won't sign for us. He just wants to stay at EB. He's a proper EB fan. And the fact they've qualified for Europe, I assume he wants to stick around next season as well. So I think I'm just going to leave him. If he ends up wanting to go elsewhere, then okay. But at the minute, he doesn't want to. He wants to stay at EB. Actually, hang on. It says he's actually left EB. Has he actually left AB? EB. Maybe we'll end up signing him over the winter, but he's just been refusing to even talk to us. If he's left EB, I'm going to sign him. And even if we just offer him out on loan to somebody or something. But yeah, that's a strange situation. I'd literally checked a week ago and he was at EB. Like as I was prepping for this video. But no, that's a player who maybe we've got to keep an eye on because he's got a lot of potential. He's been in and around the squad. He's been at our club as well before. He has 12 goals in 26. So he's actually a good goal scorer with a good record for a nation as small as ours. But yeah, I think we've reviewed everything. Hopefully I've reviewed everything. There's a lot to remember. But thanks for watching. I've been Paul Austin, the Northman, and I'll see you next time.